PC pulled up. So let me pull it up for you so I can show you on the screen here.
Yeah, sure. We'll get there soon.
Here, I'll show you here for you.
Yeah. Those of you now joining us. Storm Prediction Center has initiated severe thunderstorm watch. For this polygon here, looks like a majority of the Houston area is impacted. We're still awaiting the developments from the Storm Prediction Center out of this. But I'll show you what we have on National Weather Service radar. Yeah, JD. Now we got some counties.
All right, it says here the moderate wind, low 60 notch winds, moderate severe hail, and hail up to 2 inches in moderate. So this is a pretty dangerous situation when you see hail as big as 2 inches, right, Isaac?
Yeah, sure. So the developments we're actually seeing with this looks like, as we pointed out, storms are developing in that area where there's, modest mixed layer instability coming off of that Gulf advection there. As this line continues to surge into parts of Texas, it'll likely bow out again as this line pushes through southeast Texas. And again, this will likely initially lead to a hail threat because there's a corridor of some modest, 3-kilometer lapse rates and whatnot. But again, there's already a cell that's producing potentially up to quarter-sized hail. We'll get to that in a second. But as storms, we'll likely see a brief period a brief window where storms may potentially produce up to 2 inches in diameter hail. It'll build to that much more than likely. And I have my radar scope pulled up. I'll get that on there. And so looks like we're already monitoring this cell. It's north of Bryan, and looks like a lot of this energy is further aloft with this. But again, there's definitely I'm going to see what the vertically integrated liquid product is saying with this. But yeah, we can see just looking off of this, we got a very strong updraft with this. So I mean, obviously coupling in with those lapse rates and the signatures that we're seeing, just over these past few scans, looks like, yeah, I mean, this updraft has progressed. Now it's, so I mean, potentially we're likely seeing a corridor or axis, and
wow,
altitude. Oh yeah, now the reflectivity's kind of built up a little bit, and comparing that to the past scan, looks like we're seeing some higher reflectivity being indicated. So now a lot of that air is sinking down towards the ground. We're getting coupled with the stronger downdraft as well. So that's a sign that we're probably starting to see some hail with this particular cell. And, we're going to be watching areas around Normandy and Madisonville in Texas very soon. Yeah, the Weather Service has actually said, we're likely going to end up seeing maybe quarter, potentially hail up to $half size in some cases. And looks like with that downdraft, we'll likely potentially see some wind gusts that may locally get severe criteria with this.
Yeah, take a look at this, Isaac. I'll show you something in a minute. I'm just going to show you the on GR level 3 here. I'm going to show you what I found on my screen. Let me pull it up for you. Some very large hail shows.
Oh, so what is the indication you're seeing on your GR level 3? Like the depicted hail size?
Yeah, just take a look at this here. There is some dark white colors up here in this one warning. Just take a look at this.
That's a developing updraft, and the algorithm that the program you're actually showing us with that particular cell, as it does approach Madisonville, Normandy area. So I mean, the algorithm it shows what the depicted hail size is a little bit further aloft, and it really does depend how much moisture, how much saturated air is fed into that updraft. That'll likely impact whether you do see some hail potential with that particular cell. And it's likely going to be we're seeing a broken line of storms, and we're monitoring these cells in the College Station area. Again, just east of Austin along the I-10 corridor. Or no, I'm mistaken by saying that's I-10. But yeah, that highway going from Houston to Austin, I would assume that
this goes in effect to 1:30 this afternoon. So this is going to be an active afternoon, assuming.
Yeah, sure. We'll see how much developments we get off of that. We're starting to see some upscale forcing. Just looking at my VIL product, that is being fed by all this moisture that's advecting off the Gulf here. So I mean, a decent area of convection already forming. It's likely going to end up forming into a line. We're seeing some of the convergence with that front areas further west there. So you can see like San Antonio there. We got a couple of cells that are also forming. But there's more modest indication of instability out here. So all right. Oh, I do have the information on here. But yeah, we're monitoring this corridor, this area where there's a little bit higher mixed layer instability, and it looks like the indication is we're seeing the peak of it right now. You can see ML Cape of in excess of about 1,000. So I mean that's just enough. For any cell that does develop, all this air that's infecting from the Gulf, that's when we're starting to see some upscale growth with this. And any cell that does develop off of this area, it'll likely grow upscale. This is when we're seeing the highest in terms of the hail threat and whatnot as at this time here. And you can see just over the course of the next hour or so, looks like it kind of narrows out to a smaller area. And all of that activity is further north into Texas. And I'm going to point out the mixed layer instability that I'm seeing on here. It's more of a modest indication here. So you can see all that activity that's further inland, but hopefully you can see it okay with that opacity there. But I definitely will point out that you'll have enough mixed layer instability to get things going. But at the same time, this is when you'll likely see stronger downdrafts because there's no forcing for ascent or not as much forcing for ascent. Looks like that broader area of 500 Cape that quickly secedes along the line. So there's an indication that we're likely going to see some thunderstorm outflow with this. So all that saturated air that builds up with that convection that's brewing off the Gulf now, that's going to be influenced by some of this sinking air. And see that area of 500 plus Cape, it's not 500 now when we're getting to like 4 hours past runtime. Now you can see there's looks like this is when storms are likely going from a broken line.
All right, new severe thunderstorm warning, Isaac, right now.
Yeah, we'll get that. We'll get there soon. But you can see, you can definitely tell that these storms are likely going to end up bowing out over the next several hours, and obviously this as we're getting close to potentially more stable air at the ground, that's ML CIN that I'm seeing, CIN. So I mean that's when the Cape values are going down at some point. So I mean just over the next several hours, when we're seeing these indications, that means probably you're going to see more downdrafts with these cells as all that air further aloft does stabilize. It no longer provides for stronger.
Yeah, we're getting some very strong hail updrafts here, Isaac. This severe thunderstorm wind for north central Houston County and central Texas, north central Madison County, and central Texas at 2 p.m. At 1:13, a severe thunderstorm was located 10 miles west of Madisonville, moving east at 30 to 40 miles of winds expected, with hail, possible storm with quarter-size to ping-pong ball-size hail with the storm, Isaac.
Yeah, they're kind of giving that a range because that cell in particular near Madisonville, Texas, as we
Yeah, look
pointed
at
out,
that.
it had there's a fairly strong updraft with that. I definitely will point out. But again, it's the air that's further aloft. How much saturated air is coupled in with that updraft will likely determine, if the hail will exceed ping pong ball sized hail in that particular case. But the way the storm is tracking looks like the threat for ping pong ball sized hail up to ping pong ball sized hail. They're also mentioning the wind threat with that because when I was looking at velocity, looks like that has trended a bit higher over these past few radars.
Let me look at this here. Yeah, it has a little bit of wind with it, doesn't it?
Well, I'm pulling up my or hold on. Yeah, I mean the velocity returns. I mean that's potentially being coupled in with the downdraft. So I mean, gusts maybe over severe limits.
So this is the day where you can see some hail up to 2 inches in diameter. So that is enough to start breaking things if you're not careful, right, Isaac?
Yeah, sure. Especially unsecure outdoor objects or cars that are not in carports may be dented or. I mean, when we're seeing hail that large, I mean, it could also it depends on if we're getting very strong downdrafts and you're seeing 2-inch hail all over the place, and that could be roof damage too, or maybe damage to weaker siding. Just depends on the trajectory and how that does reach the ground there. Yeah, we'll see how things do develop with that. I'm actually going to.
All right, let me pull up here. Let me see if we have it. Let me check on our tool that we use showing. Is this updrafts?
Yeah, that's vertically integrated liquid. That's
yeah. Look at that. They got some. Isaac, we got some oranges here too. So what does that mean?
That's a little bit less than what we've seen. So I mean, this is likely where the updraft might be dissipating a little bit, but I mean that still indicates all that air, that saturated air that's reaching the surface, might be sinking down towards the ground. That's when we're seeing the peak of the hail threat. More than
are we going to see tornadoes today too?
So yeah, we can't rule out a couple of tornadoes, especially as storms do congeal into a broken line. They kind of bow out, and that's when we will likely end up seeing potentially some embedded. Just it'll be downdraft fed, so that's kind of what we refer to.
UIC tornadoes. So yeah, this is a day where you want to really pay attention to this. I mean, if you have to tell about the charge of devices in case they would lose power, Isaac.
Yeah, sure. We'll see how things do develop and trend out of that, and we'll assess the need for potential feed activation fairly soon. And I'm actually checking the population statistics of this area and see how things do trend out in this particular area. Oh, there we are. Public counties. Oh, there we are. Probs. That's. Oh, there's the initial radar. It's actually looking. But yeah, again, this is areas from Austin to College Station, even Houston, Galveston in this particular watch as well. All right. Trying to see what the well, there's the probabilities, of course. I think that's under counties. That's where it shows the, or that's just a watch county notification.
I'll pull that up here for you, okay, on the screen.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, severe thunderstorm watch number 2 runs in effect to 7 p.m.
I'm just going into EDD, the enhanced data display here. There we are. Yeah, that's what I was looking for.
There's a new storm over here. Looks like it's growing too, Isaac. Look at here.
All
I'm
right.
going to put my screen back on for a second, so I'll show you. This is just the hail here, looks like.
Yeah, it looks like that's a storm with a developing updraft kind of being fed with that elevated instability that's in that area.
But we'll have to watch later.
Yeah, sure. Oh, interactive hazard. That's not what I was looking for. All right. So yeah, definitely they're monitoring. I don't have access to that. Oops. Hazard watch. Oh, this shows the IBWs. But I'm monitoring. Yeah, I'm turning on radar display there. Yeah, this shows the gradients within there. That's interesting. Looks like it might be a embedded server issue. Show severe thunderstorm watch. There we go. Surprised it's not fetching data. Auto spread. Oh, let's see archive. I'm going to see how this cell is trended here in near Madisonville. All right. Oops, I think we lost your audio there, JD.
Oh, I'm back on now. Can you hear me?
Yes. Oh, I thought.
I had it on mute for a second when I was doing something.
Oh, okay.
I was trying to send the StreamYard out to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
How do you do that?
Oh, what are you looking? Oh, to invite someone?
Yeah.
I'm on here. See, I'm mousing over the invite key. Can you share your screen for me?
Yes. Let me. All right. I hit share.
Oh, invite this button, and then do you get a link here? Basically, what you do is you just copy and then paste wherever.
Let me try this here, man. Let me try it.
Excuse me.
All right. And go to Messenger, right? It said temporary not working.
On your messenger?
Yes.
Oh, that's probably just an issue on your end. Probably not an internal server thing. So I mean, if it's something with your computer, it might just be your internet or something. But yeah, I'm seeing how things are trending off here. You can see that cell near Madisonville, that strong downdraft that kicked in with that. That's when we're seeing potential hail that mixed in with that elevated updraft, and then bam, you do see that. Yeah, that's again just north of College Station there. As potential, yeah, when we're seeing that updraft, and then as the VIL kind of falls some that updraft, then we're likely seeing the short-term hail concern with that.
You've had a few people on here.
All right. Oh, the status message. That's what I was trying to get with that. Oh yeah, that's anything that's 5% basically. That's not. So a probability of 10 or more severe hail events, that's defined as 30%. So when we're seeing 6 or more combined severe hail
All right,
events.
we got a new severe thunderstorm warning, Isaac. A couple more.
All right.
This one down here. This runs in effect until 2 p.m. too. So we got
Sure.
3 warnings in place. This is just keep on getting active, right?
Yeah, sure. Again, this is a separate storm that actually it's showing the characteristics for. Again, it's kind of a mixed. We're starting to get that updraft, and then like a more elevated updraft with that. So I mean that's when we're definitely seeing a potent hail threat with that. But then when we're seeing the highest reflectivity, then that's when there's air being that's sinking air towards the ground there. So I mean that's this is where you're likely seeing a storm that could be producing severe criteria or this is severe limits in terms of damaging winds, and then we're likely going to potentially see a progressive hail threat over the next several minutes, kind of developing with that updraft. Depends on how much saturated air is, forming within that updraft, and the indication is that's fairly modest amount of saturated air within there.
North Central Lee County and Central Texas at 2 p.m. At 1:25, a severe thunderstorm was over Dime to 10 miles east of, Lexington and Moon East around 25. So hazardous. 60 miles of wind gusts and hail the size of quarters with the storm. And there is a possible tornado with the storm too, Isaac.
Are you pointing out? Is this a separate warning or?
Yeah, this is a separate one. A separate one. He has a tornado text on there.
Oh, what? I think you might be referencing. I wonder if it's this storm, and looks like it has kind of a situation where some of that energy is translating down to the surface, kind of wrapping around.
Here, I'll show you. Can you see it? Possible text on here.
All right.
I'll pull the text up on my phone. There it is.
It looks like that downdraft's kind of wrapping around within there.
So you're starting to have a little bit of a weak rotation is a possibility. We can see a brief tornado spin up.
Yeah, sure. I mean, we'll see what developments do come out with that, just in terms of radar and whatnot.
All right, let me put in the other radar because there's some weak rotation right there.
Yeah, I mean that's storm relative shear within that. It's I think that's gaining about 20 to 30 knots. But I mean storm or like the base velocity that factors in where the storm motion is. That will likely be in excess of maybe 20 knots. It's not like it's not what we consider a terms of like a couplet or anything yet, but it is.
But it doesn't take that much, Isaac.
Yeah, right.
So if you're in the severe thunderstorm warning, you're just definitely some gusty winds. It's always that possibility that we could get a tornado spin up. But this looks like some very large hail with this again. Just looking at the Wicklet again.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So yeah, JD, if you have any other developments to pass along with that, looks like again these are two separate cells that are within that. Kind of a little bit of a column where there could be some weak rotation, but all right, I'm gonna go ahead and see what. Oh, this is super res velocity, kind of base velocity. Looks like we're not getting an inbound outbound, but it kind of trends a little bit higher. I think the gate to gate shear is about 30 knots with that, maybe give or take a bit.
And this one goes through 2 p.m. and the rest, all three of them, go through 2 o'clock. So definitely there could be some damaging winds gusts with any of these storms today. With this quasi building up, we could see a brief tornado. This is a day where you probably want to pay attention. I mean, make sure you have a weather radio, plenty of ways to have wantings. I mean, we're all under a severe thunderstorm watch into about into 7 p.m. We just have, I'll pull over here before we have warnings. We did have one report of 1-inch hail.
One report of 1-inch hail. Was it with this cell in Madisonville?
Well, it's right over here. Before stuff got going, we have one report of quarter-size hail.
Oh, okay. I believe that was an initial report coming out of. Oh, that was out of Milam. Okay, yeah, it was associated with that same cell that's impacting areas around Madisonville, more than likely, and that's kind of where you're getting some decent amount of low-level shear, but also a more elevated updraft with that. So we're going to watch that pretty carefully. I'll be in and off the stream, but if you have any other developments to cover, definitely pass them along. All right, doesn't really look like we have anyone viewing us right now. So
you want to just want to hit the end button, or what do you want to do?
Well, if you have any additional developments to cover in this feed period, we can start another stream, or you can get that going as you feel it's necessary. But we'll get back on when we get there. This is USA Storm Watch. We will see you soon.